AI seems to be everywhere these days, whether we like it or not. Whether it's generating images in Dall-E or calculating the mass of the sun with ChatGPT. But with these tools, life still lacks direction. But what if you could use AI to organise your days, your weeks, and even your months? Well, then there's Motion. But is it really worth the money? Can you do better for free? Let's find out together. I'll go over 2 more apps that are similarly priced without AI, and then 2 that are completely free. Motion came into the world in 2022. Its aim is to help you be more productive and efficient in whatever it is you're doing. The high claim is thanks to its AI that's personalised and catered to you, whether it be by prioritising tasks, analysing your project, deciding how to spread stuff out throughout the day, and it can even use smart reminders to alert you when you need to do something. AI is cool and all, and it's nice to be able to put certain aspects of your life on autopilot, but it's worth looking into some potentially viable alternatives before paying more than your gym membership. I mean beyond Motion's free trial. So first of all, you'll go to the website and click this button here that says Try Motion for free. I create some basic details and tell it that I'm merely a single person and don't lead a team of people. I always see red flags when companies want me to give them my card details before I've even started the free trial. There was no fathomable reason why I should give you my card details before I've even tried to use your service, unless you're banking on me forgetting to cancel. Unfortunately, privacy.com has no UK alternative, so I ignore this and move ahead. After a quick introduction telling me how awesome Motion is, we're asked if we want to sync our calendars. I'm not the kind of person who uses a calendar, which is why Facebook is the only reason I know it's your birthday. So I'm entirely skipping this bit, absolutely pretending that I'm someone who wakes up at 9 AM. I leave it at the default setting, which gives me the weekend to finally relax after a hard week. I don't know which of these 4 tasks I want to commit to for the rest of my life, so I choose all 4. And my personal life is not that interesting. I decide to choose whatever the website suggests for each task. You can set the duration for each task and the deadline for each. I can imagine for project management or coursework this is vital, but here I'm making it up. Again, it asks me if I'm sure I don't want to switch to a theme account. No, I don't. Here it will ask you if you prefer light or dark mode. I prefer dark as I am the night. So finally, we're at the main screen. As you can see here, I missed a deadline for all my tasks on the 4th of March because I was busy on my PS5 all day. And it wants me to check out its latest feature, in which you can now use search functionality. I can see that you can download it onto your desktop. I won't do that as I'm only having a look for my lovely viewers. If I click the blue button here, we can add a task. I'll just put in something random, but I should probably take this more seriously if I'm to make a focus example. If you were to check your inbox, you would see some introductory stuff that reiterates its sales points. But you don't have to spend as long scheduling everything and can let Motion do it all for you as it knows what's best. It tells us at the bottom here that we can press Ctrl and Space to create a new task as well. There's also a link in the email to a 3-minute introductory video about the task manager. You might find it a little convoluted and overwhelming, so let's break this down. When you go to the Projects tab up here, the first thing we'll be guided to do is create our first workspace. So let's go with creating this video, and then we'll have stuff like research, watching a tutorial, writing the script, and then we're prompted to watch another video, and I'll link both of these down in the description if you want to get a brief head start. They are public. This one is by Efficient App, who have apparently used Motion for more than 2 years, and no offense Howie Key, this video is a lot more beginner friendly, probably due to how long the video actually is. So once we're in, we'll see our existing tasks here under No Project, and the 3 we just made down here under our new workspace. If we click each one, we'll see more details to the right, and our main body will be the description. Motion loves teamwork. Team, 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 team. It even loves saying the word team. But if you look down here, you can see which handsome devil updated the description. If we go to the Kanban view, what does Kanban even mean? We can see that it's possible to group different tasks by category. I actually recorded myself trying to create a team here, but then remembered you have to pay to access those features, which we can see aren't part of the free trial. However, you can imagine what this functionality allows us to do. If, like me, you want to cancel your plan and make sure you're not charged, we can go through this process right here with perfectly marked buttons. It begs us to stay and asks us to explain, but then we're done. So now that's sorted, let's take a look at some of its competitors and see if it matches up to what we can expect from what some may call a glorified calendar. The next thing we're going to be talking about is called SunSama. SunSama doesn't have anything that claims to use some kind of advanced AI to manage your day, but I personally find that if you've got an interface that's easy to use and navigate, and it doesn't have too much bloat, then what else is best considered a gimmick? If you perceive AI to be the gimmick that Motion has, then it's not something it shares with SunSama. The interface is a lot easier to work with in my mind. You can drag stuff around and everything is a lot easier to access without bloating the entire screen. We've got Plan and Focus right here, which encourage daily work. We access it by clicking into a task, leading you to a page, allowing you to add a description. We can press play if we want to get said activity done. This screen is very focused on a single thing, but we're able to add subtasks right here as well. If you prefer Pomodoro, where you'll work for the same time you break, we've got that up here as well, which will retain our subtasks. If you're wondering how you can leave this screen, there is a close button here which is semi-hidden. If you're interested in trying out SunSama, they have a free trial that lasts for 2 weeks, which is twice as long as Motion, and you don't have to give them your card details in order to try it out. You can have a look at the prices here, but whether it's cheap or not depends on how much you're ready to commit to using it. Moving on, we've got Akiflow. As with SunSama, it's multi-platform and you can download it onto your computer or use it online. In Akiflow, we have a slightly different take on how we add tasks to the calendar. We just free type something here and simply drag and drop. The service really wants you to connect everything up with everything else, so you can, for instance, source something in Gmail and have it show up as a task. Another cool feature is that you can capture different types of media in your calendar, like an entire website. They encourage you to utilise different hotkeys to get stuff done quicker. You can also change your view as well on the calendar to the right here by selecting how many days we want to view at once, or if it's applicable to you. You can have group overlapping tasks and show secondary time zones for those with the team members overseas. The pricing for Akiflow is completely the same as Motion. It costs the same and the free trial has the same duration of 7 days. It even forces you to give it your card details before you can gain access. So lastly, we've got amazing Marvin, and we'll see how amazing he really is. Firstly, when you start the free trial, you've got some questions to answer, which are your typical "how productive are you" types. When we get access to our main screen, we've got a layout that's vaguely similar to the last two we spoke about. We've got our lists and categories to the left, and stuck to the side here is our different views. In the centre, we've got our inbox, completed, and the main course, which is how we add stuff. Firstly, we've got an introduction from Marvin himself, and I just have to show you this because the text "go away" just made me laugh. You've got some tasks to go through and videos to go along with them. Something that could be a little confusing if you watch different tutorials on YouTube is that some people prefer different workflows, which can cause the layout to move around a bit. If you look here, you can deactivate and activate different workflows to see which one suits you best. This gives you a bit more flexibility without the complexity of deciding where everything goes. There is a workflow builder, but that won't be for everyone, it's just there. Further to workflows, there are also strategies, which are like the little widgets that can go into different workflows. That can sound like a bit of a mouthful, so basically you don't need to touch any of them. But if you feel like you've been using Marvin for a while now, and you feel like it's not as useful as any of the previous calendars in one way or another, you can see if there's a strategy you can enable. Beyond that functionality, we can change the look and feel, like we can change the font, which is integrated with Google Fonts, and some nice presets, such as dark mode. All the basic features are there for when you're creating your to-do list. Your calendar will be at the top left, which you can probably move around. You can create tasks, projects, set deadlines, etc. Amazing Marvin is $12 a month if you're paying monthly, and $8 a month if you're committing to a year. Okay, so Marvin is definitely the cheapest we've talked about so far. But what about the free ones? We can talk about Asana first of all, which does have paid options, but also a free tier for personal use. Asana is available as a desktop app, a mobile app, or you can use it in the browser. I'll put up the feature comparison here, but what we get is pretty generous. You do have to start paying if you have a team of more than 10 people, but by that point I don't think £9.49 is too big of an ask. You still have all the common to-do list features such as tasks, projects, integrations, setting deadlines and teamwork, but with a personal plan, you can learn to navigate your way around a time limit. Now at the start of this video, I was talking about Motion and how it uses AI to automatically move your tasks to vacated spots on the calendar, in a way that's personalised to you. Asana is another app that will manually require you to do that. And I've heard that some workarounds are required to import calendar data from other services, which can lead to a bit more time required to import data. I've also seen people complain about not being able to see a live view of their team's activity. And this is true if you consider how other apps would have something like Gary created this task in the description of each task. Next up, we can talk about Trello. Trello is one of the 3 productivity apps I'll be talking about, and the first thing it boasts about on its YouTube channel is its ability to keep all your working information in one easily readable bird's eye view, instead of having everything saved in bookmarks and tabs hidden out of sight. First, you'll be on the landing page before actually creating the board, and at the top right you'll get a drop-down menu that allows you to get started with the creation process. You'll have a completely blank state that isn't even remotely populated as what you just saw, but we can make a start by creating our lists. If you wanted to use this like every other app I've talked about, you can have to do, doing, done, or you can have something like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's entirely flexible. You've got drag and drop functionality, that's a given at this point, and you can click into each item for more details. From here you can add a description, give it labels, assign it to a member of your team, and we've got the return of another feature we covered early on in the video. If we go into the checklist here, we can create a sublist of things we can cross off. So if, for instance, this task was to create a video about motion, I could write down things like write the script, record with OBS, film intro and outro. We can make this pop up at a regular interval and make sure we're consistent with our tasks. Going down the list of items, we've got the ability to include attachments. Going back to the example of making a video, this could be useful if you want somewhere to keep your video thumbnail, or maybe you've got a screen recording and you have like a YouTube tutorial for reference you can attach a URL for as well. So that's Trello. After some heavy use, you'll probably end up having a bunch of different lists going horizontally with different kinds of items filling it up. Like that page you see when you open up a new tab in Microsoft Edge, but not ugly. If you ever decide to make a new board though, you don't have to delete your existing one. As you'll see at the very top, you'll be able to make a new one. I like Trello. It's quite simple and does everything you need a little differently to the others. Again, there's no fancy AI here, but nor is there a calendar view. However, it is free and easy to add stuff and move it about, and it can look quite personalised with the more you have, so I won't mind having something like this as my homepage. Lastly, I want to go over to Todoist. Todoist claims to be the world's favourite task manager and to-do list app that is trusted by 13 million people and teams. We'll start by clicking the red button here and registering the same way as everything else. Then we're in. We'll see our tasks and deadlines in the middle here, and we can change what view we're looking at to the left here. The bottom section being what project we're currently working on. If we want to add a task, we can look along the top here, which leads to a dialog box asking for a name, description, date, priority, and whether or not we want to set an alarm. To the right of that, we've got a daily goals feature too. If we go further to the right, we can change who we're using Todoist as. We can look into what integrations we've got set, and we can change the look of Todoist. But for the moment, let's go back to the project section I showed you to the left before. If we click that, we'll get a whole new dialog box prompting some details from us, like the name, colour, and whether we want our project to look more like a list or a board of items. When we create that, assuming we choose the board layout, it'll look a bit like Trello in that we create sections that go from left to right. Looking slightly above these, we have the ability to share the project with other people. If we want to add some flexibility, we can open up a menu here which allows us to add extensions and allows us to hide certain completed items. You can also do some basics like backup and duplicate. If we add an item into any of these sections, it'll be exactly the same as the button at the top. We'll be able to give it a name and description and all that. Todoist does support labels which you can tag items with for easy categorization. If you want to amend said labels, you can see filters and labels as one of the views I mentioned before. This will be as simple as naming the label and giving it a colour. There doesn't seem to be anything Todoist offers that I haven't seen other apps doing already, but it is another option if you want something free. So what do I recommend? Well, it's all about flavour, and as much as I like to talk about AI on this channel, I prefer things being lightweight and free of bloat. I would say Trello for the ease of access and easy learning curve, but I'm only one man with limited time. The same can't be said for a team of different people doing lots of different tasks. This is the situation in which you need to pay proper workspace support. Similar for deadlines and reminders. If I need an alarm, I'll use a free application on my phone. If I was still in an office with strict phone policy, those features would need to be included. Call me fickle, but I don't think it's worth paying for, but you may disagree. Feel free to let me know, and if I've got anything wrong. I am willing to be corrected, but if you liked what I had to say on this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and as always, I hope you guys have a very pleasant week. Bye now.